This is Greta, and I am the niece of Aunt Maudine and Uncle Azel.
I'm Aislinn, and I'm also the niece of Aunt Maudine and Uncle Azel.
Maudine was my wife's stepsister.
My name is Gail Howell, and Maudine was my stepsister. Her mother married my father.
Maudine was my first cousin. Her father and my mother were brothers and sisters. They both were raised in Virginia, our parents. Her family migrated to Washington, D.C., and my mother, when she got married, she moved to New Jersey. And we went to D.C. on a pretty often basis to visit her and her brother Jameson and her parents.
Maudine is my aunt. She's my mother's sister.
I'm Shane. Dina was my mom.
And I'm Ryan, and Shana is my husband.
Okay, Allison Brown, Maudine's first cousin. My mother and Maudine's father, Jimmy Jones, were brother and sister. There's Maudine, and there is, of course, Jameson, but there's her half-sister, Shirley, who was her father's first daughter, who was actually raised halfway by her father and my mother. So when her sister got married years ago, she actually had her original wedding at my house when I was little kids. So we've grown up knowing Maudine and Jameson and Jimmy and Martha forever and ever. So we're here just to be here to celebrate her passing, in the sense of to celebrate her life, because she was a great person, always has been, and in my heart will still continue to be.
My name is Dudley Harper, and I know Dina as my stepsister.
My name is Geraldine Thorne. I knew Dina. We were at Union Baptist together. That's when I first met her, and we ushered on the usher ministry together.
I'm Herman Scott.
Margie Scott.
And we know Maudine from school. Our children went to the same school, Jordan High, and they were in high school around the same time. Did they go to
The kids were in high school.
Yeah, right, high school.
Our daughter and Shane were in the same class in high school.
Exactly.
And we also met Dina really first in church. We met and we just clicked, and she was just a wonderful person, and we went in the usher ministry together, youth advisory ministry together, and we just shared different experiences together, different things together.
I'm Charlie Eisler.
Edith Eisler.
And I've been knowing Dina for over 20 years.
I met Dina through IBM 30 years ago.
Okay, my name is Jay Jameson. Dina was my younger sister. She's 2.5 years younger than me. I hope that we see her again in heaven when I go. We had an older sister named Shirley, Eunice's mom, who was like a second mother to us. And they kind of like made me act good. They're both gone now. I'm the only one here, and I think about them all the time, and they're thinking about them makes me a better person.
My name's Susan Marks, and I know the family through Shane. Shane and I worked together for many years at Durham Exchange Club Industries, and we were both only children, and so we talked about our parents a lot.
I'm Dr. Tanya Armstrong, and I have known Dina since probably the 90s. Dina joined our Stephen ministry that was started at Union Baptist in the year 2000, and as the minister of that part of our ministry of congregational care and counseling, I'm so pleased for Dina to join our Stephen ministry and to serve, to support people emotionally and spiritually with their challenges, and she was very good at what she did. And as I mentioned prior to that, we were already friends, and so I really enjoyed getting to know Dina and her character, her sweetness, her witty sense of humor, and especially her faith that was not a faith that was full of masks and facades. She would be transparent sometimes if there were things that were challenging for her, but she was always steadfast.
I'm Charlie Morgan. I'm Azel and Dina's cousin. I am the son of Dina's maternal first cousin, Pamela.
My name is Harry Lawson, and how I got to meet Dina was through work and friends at church. I've known her for over 20 years. They have been there for me through some tough times and some good times.
My name is Pernessa Mickens Lowry, and I know Dina from church at Union Baptist. We were good friends. We ushered together as well as we were in the same Sunday school class.
I'm Eugene Nelson. I'm the brother-in-law to Maudine, and I just think Maudine was one of the greatest persons that I've ever met. I've been around. I loved her very much.
My name is Lillian Walker. I am the sister-in-law to Dina. Her husband was my brother.
And I would like to share with Aunt Maudine that she just was always so positive and very soft-spoken, and whenever it was Christmas, they would always send us gifts and come and check us out. And when they used to live in Northern Virginia, which is where we live, and we would go to their house, Uncle AO&JO would always have some crazy Vietnam War stories to tell us about these like 50-foot anaconda snakes and just crazy stuff, how stuff was detonating and it was supposed to supposedly they thought the enemy was going to hurt him, but he never did really get, I think he had like a couple of scrapes or whatever, but he made it out alive and just had so many testimonies to share. And we just loved being around him, loved talking to him. He was funny too. He would make you laugh, and he was just always himself. And Aunt Maudine too, she seemed like she was the one that was like calm to him. Like where he was like rah rah, she was like the calm one.
Definitely. Uncle Azel, I definitely remember him always talking about his motorcycle. And at one point, didn't we ride on the motorcycle at one point?
You did.
I did?
You must have.
I know.
Me.
So yes, I guess I'm like the adventuresome one, like Uncle Azel.
So many memories to choose from, but I remember when I was younger, I think one of my first birthdays, I remember watching her run around and doing everything and doing so much to make sure like just this one day would be perfect, to have everything I could ever want. That's how I hopefully will be for our kids.
For me, I was being younger and growing up together, we just had fun. We did lots of things. We played in the house together. We were kids together. And that's what we did. As kids, we just hung out and did small things, big things when they're living in DC. When we got older, we kind of separated a little bit, didn't see each other as much, but we saw each other at family events from time to time and just always enjoyed having fun together.
I guess one of the funniest moments is when we were growing up. She was a few years older than me, and just interacting in the basement, playing with the train set, and I guess that's about it, just interacting, having a good time.
Maudine, she is a very, she's a bubbly person. She has a very lively spirit about her, so, it's always about very light moments and easygoing, very easy to talk to.
Her beautiful smile, she always had that smile that just warms your heart when you see her.
What I remember, what impressed me most about Maudine was how she welcomed this new side of her family to her family. She welcomed the Harpers to her family and always made us feel at home and welcome.
I met Dina through Shane, obviously, and I just remember she was so open and loving, and I could just tell her everything, and that just meant the world to me. And I think one of my favorite memories is when we had the solar eclipse, and we sat at the table and we made our viewers out of cereal boxes, and it was just so fun. It was just a wonderful memory that they got to enjoy my science nerd brain and get excited about the solar eclipse. So.
When I met his mom at his wedding, I knew immediately she was so beautiful, and she had on a beautiful flower dress, and I knew that had to be Shane's mom. And sometimes at work I was his blonde mom, so she shared him with me, and I was really blessed for that. And I remember very well at the wedding, we were walking out and it started raining, and we looked at each other and said, "That's good luck," at the same time. And so that's my good memory of Shane's mom.
The only thing I can say is she's a wonderful person. She could light up a room with her smile. She made her mother very happy and my father very happy. She was a very loving person and a very caring person. It was my pleasure to know her.
So I remember for my graduation, one of my best friends, her parents, they were dog breeders. They had Cocker Spaniels. So they gave me one for my graduation, and my dad, he was not about that life. He was not having it. So I remember Uncle Azel and Aunt Maureen having a Cocker Spaniel, and they didn't have, he had passed on or whatever. So Dad was like, "Yeah, why don't you give Uncle Azel a call?" So I did, and they were able to take the dog, and it was just so super duper awesome. I think Shane came up and he met the dog and everything like that or whatever. And I think Shane was the actual.
What was the dog's name?
Morena.
Morena.
The dog's name was Morena.
She was dark.
So, she was black. Mm-hmm. So they got my graduation dog. So. And I remember always coming back down to the house for Christmas and not Christmas, but when they had Thanksgivings down there and stuff like that, and being able to see the dog and stuff like that. So that was awesome.
Well, what pops in my head is a Stevie Wonder concert that we went to together. She loved music, and Stevie Wonder was in town, and she knew that I had actually talked with Stevie Wonder. So when she found out that he was in town, we talked about going together, and we did. And so it was we had a great time. She bought me a Stevie Wonder t-shirt, and I think that was in 2007. And I've been wearing that t-shirt quite a bit, but a lot lately.
I have several memories of it. I think the best memories I have about Dina is we always like to go different places together. Went on vacation together, and usually when we went on vacation, we wanted to make sure we ended up at a concert somewhere. So on at least 2 occasions, we went on vacation and we traveled to Hampton, Virginia, to the Hampton Coliseum there for the jazz festival that happened every year.
Oh, one of my finest memories. Let me just say it like this. I came to visit Dina when she was in the hospital recently to spend a couple of days, and I ran out of clothes. I was in the hospital for 2 or 3 days, and I ran out of clothes, and I didn't have any clothes. So that night when I went to bed, I got one of the hospital robes and some disposable underwear. And Dina was just so livid. We laughed about that. She was full of laughter. And I just remember one of those times. That was just one thing. Can I say something? Another thing that I want to share is that I had heard that Dina had this disease, this illness rather, and I had been going back and forth to New Haven, Connecticut. I had a brother that had the same illness, and Dina had heard about it. So when I got back home, I called Dina, was just talking. At that point, I did not know that Dina had the same cancer. So I was talking with her, and she began to ask me all of these questions. Who, what, when, where, how, what does it look like? How did your brother respond, and so forth. So after a multitude of questions, she got quiet. And I said, Dina, you must know someone who has this cancer. Have I answered all of your questions, or do we need to talk some more? And she says, I think you've answered all of my questions right now. She got quiet, and I was quiet. I said, well, is it somebody that I know? And she got quiet. And I says, okay, you have it. And I didn't get sad or anything. I just felt like I was going to go on this journey with her, and we would talk frequently. And I did tell her, I said, Dina, I'm going to walk this journey with you. And as anything comes up that you want to know that I can compare your illness with, as I compared my brother's with, then I'll be there for you. And that's my friend. It's a lot more to say, but that's most important right now.
Well, the last time I visited Maudine, she was at Pettigrew Nursing, Assisted Living. And I called to tell her that I was coming. And I said, is there anything that I can bring you? And she said, well, you know, I like sweets. And so I said, well, what kind of sweets? So I like chocolate. So when we got there, I had some Lindor chocolates for her. And we laughed about it. She said, I bet when you asked if you could bring anything or do anything for me, you were surprised when I told you that I wanted chocolates. And she ate about 2 or 3 before we left. So she still had that little sparkle about her even in her sickness.
We had another experience with Dina and her family. We went to Monrovia. Is it Monrovia?
Yes.
In western North Carolina, and we got to enjoy and meet her family and enjoy some great food and barbecuing and that type of thing. We had a wonderful time there.
One of my favorite memories of Dina is a few years ago I got laid off at IBM, and AO&JO at the time had a business where he was cutting grass and doing things in the yard. And AO&JO actually invited me to work with him, and he paid me a salary during the time that I was laid off from IBM. And I would tell him, AO&JO, you know I'm gonna have to go back to work one day. And he would laugh and he would say, no, I enjoy working with you, and you're one of the best workers I've ever had, working in the lawn with AO&JO.
The grandparents were kind, they were loving, and they were funny. They loved life, and they loved to laugh. I really enjoyed the laughter from both of them. My family lives in New Jersey, and we made it our business to visit Durham frequently so we could enjoy your grandparents' affection for each other, their affection for us, their generosity and their kindness. They loved and valued the people around them, and they loved and valued each other. And I think it's important for you all to know that. One of my favorite stories is about your granddad, and he told me he walked outside one day. He had this way of talking, and it wasn't just his accent; it was the way that he delivered stories. And he walked outside one day and went to the yard, and he saw a snake, and he stopped and he looked at this snake, and he called for Shane, and he said, "Shane, go get my gun." And he wasn't excited. He was just resolute. And for me, being from New Jersey, that was just you don't hear people from New Jersey don't speak that way. They don't deliver their thoughts that way usually. And so it was a nice moment of levity and laughter for both of us. Your grandparents were amazing. They were absolutely positively 2 of my favorite people, and I hope that you grow up to be very much like them.
I think one of her best qualities was you were always comfortable when you were around her because she was fun, she was easygoing, she was real, honest, relaxed. She was just, you could be a stranger and be comfortable in her presence. I just think that she had a genuine, nice personality, just someone that you would like to be around. We had a running gag that I called her my nemesis because she would playfully pick at me, doing little different things, just to get me to laugh or to get my goat. But it was fun, and I'll remember that about her. One thing what?
She would tell her grandchildren.
That she would tell her grandchildren? Oh, goodness. I think she would probably tell her grandchildren to, live life to the fullest, explore, be kind, be gentle, laugh a lot, love a lot, make friends, keep friends, and remember her always.
Modine was generous in the way she gave me presents and the fact that she would make specifications as to my attitude when I wear her attire.
I would say the aspect of her character that probably, I don't know if it was the strongest, but maybe one that I appreciated the most was her wit. I know that she often had sort of a dry sense of humor, and she could deliver a punchline with a deadpan look, and you had to kind of pause for a minute to make sure that she meant for that to be a joke. And one of the last jokes that she ever shared, which I think was a sign of how important her wit was to her, was that she was in her final weeks of life, and she was lamenting the fact that she was not home anymore and that she really missed home. And I was thinking very seriously, yes, it is very hard to be away from home. And then she said, and plus, it's hard to be away from home because there's no popcorn or candy here. At home, there's popcorn and candy. So she was a fun-loving person who, even in the midst of her pain, did not lose her sense of humor.
Dina and her husband, AO&JO, were some of the best people that I've ever met. They opened their home for me. They were just special. There are memories that I shall never forget, like changing the bandage on AZL's drive line and Dina saying, "Harry, just snatch it off. Don't worry, he'll let you know if it hurts." Or me wrecking my motorcycle and AZL riding right past me without knowing that I was there. And Dina was one of the first ones that I called when I accepted the call into the ministry, and her response was, "Harry, what took you so long?" So Dina and her husband, who's gone, have left lasting memories that I shall never forget. They touch me in ways that are unbelievable. I will forever love them, love Shane and Hudson. It's been just a wonderful experience.
My memory of Modine is just a loving, kind, gentle, caring person, full of joy and highly spiritual lady that I just would love to just paradise myself after her. My memory of her is eating a slice of caramel cake that I made for her at all special occasions. Even when she was in the hospital, and then I would carry her a slice of cake, and she didn't have much of an appetite, but she let me feed her that 3-layer slice of cake. And she just ate it and just enjoyed every crumb of it.
Dina was a blessing in my life and a wonderful and kind friend. She always had a word of wisdom to share. Her beautiful smile, along with her loving and kind spirit, was so special. I will always have her memory close to my heart. I love you, Dina. Pranessa.
I admired Modine because she was a real nice person, down to earth, and always had a big smile and very easy to talk to.
No, I just enjoyed the many times that I came to visit you in AZL, how nice you guys were. You know, just like I said, I didn't want to spend in no hotel because I couldn't get the attention and service that I got when I spent time with you guys. It was just good, you know. It was just I just always felt so much at home when I came to visit you in AZL. You guys were just great, always have been. Ever since, you know, when I first met Marty, even before you guys got married, it just was just great. It's always been great. And Marty was just a fantastic person, and she's going to be missed. And I mean missed, and I don't say that lightly. I mean really missed.
My brother, oh my goodness, my brother. That I had 6 brothers, He was the youngest one, and he was the baby, and I was next to the baby. He and I had a special bond, not saying that the others didn't. I didn't have a special bond with them, but he and I were the last two at home. We knew so many of the same people. We ran around with some of the same people. We knew all about somebody, and he would call me twice a day. I live in Warrenton, Virginia, and he would call me twice a day, every day, and one time on Sundays, because he knew I would be in church, so he would call me late on Sunday evenings. And I tell you, we would stay on the phone for days and hours just talking about yesteryear, what we used to do and what we can't do now. Just so many good memories, no bad memories, just good memories.
I think if Almighty were here right now, she would tell you, Hudson, and your other brothers and sisters to come, because I'm speaking that into existence, that you all can do anything that you want to do. You can achieve anything. The sky is the limit. Beyond the sky into the galaxies, whatever you desire with God on your side, you'll be able to accomplish it. And she would love you up and just kiss you and hug you, and she wouldn't want to let you go. And she babysit you all weekend. Whenever they needed, she would be watching you.
I would definitely ditto what Greta said. And along with that, she was always a great, great teacher. And she and Uncle Azel, your grandfather, they were always so they were always so upfront and encouraging. And they both had that teacher kind of spirit. So I know that they would be getting out the history books. I know that they would be getting out all kinds of globes and maps and all kinds of that. They would definitely want you to know all about your ethnicity and your history and your family tree and everything like that. They would make sure that you had everything that you needed to know who you were and who you are and who you are going to become.
If there's one thing I would like her grandchildren to know about Maudine is that she was a real down-to-earth and Christian woman, and that she was respected by everyone.
To live life to its fullest, to make sure no matter what happens in life, no matter what heartaches you may have.
Say that one more time. So just say like, because they're not hearing me.
Okay.
Just say
no problem.
One thing that she would want her grandchild.
Got it. So one thing that I think Maudine would love for everyone to know is to really understand they need to live life to its fullest. To take every day and every opportunity to be with the ones you love, to love the ones you're with, and make sure that you share those moments and those times that you have with son to the fullest.
Maureen would tell her children to always be happy.
I think she would tell her grandchildren to embrace family and love. Love, love, love.
So one thing that Maudine would want to tell her grandchildren is to be fearless and go out and enjoy their lives. She was one who traveled a lot and to do adventurous, exciting things such as zip lining.
She would tell her grandchildren to go to school and study hard.
This is your Aunt Nana, your great Aunt Nana, and she loves to talk and she loves to cook. She loves to make, always made your dad homemade chocolate chip cookies and homemade applesauce.
If Dina were still here, first of all, she would say, Hudson, I'm so glad that I got to know you. It was my prayer from when I first learned that you were coming that I would actually survive and be able to meet you. And God did answer that prayer. I'm sure she would have wanted a much longer time to spend with you, Hudson, and I'm sure you would have wanted that as well. But one of the ways that I think she continues to speak to you is to remind you to apply yourself. She was a person who could be funny, but also could be serious. And I think she would say that in whatever your endeavors may be, whatever your passion or your purpose is, to take it seriously, to serve God well with it, and to not give up until you achieve your goals.
Hudson, if you have just a little bit of your grandmother and your great-grandmother, you're going to be a wonderful child. One of the things that your grandmother said that your great-grandmother said about her mother was that she took really good care of me. So you do that for your mother and your great-grandmother, and you're going to be just fine, Hudson.
Also to Hudson, that one thing that your grandma really loved you so much, and I just want to let you know that. And this is your great uncle, Gene, Azel's brother, your granddaddy's brother, speaking. And you are from a great family. Maureen was just great, a great person to be around, a great person just to she cared for other people. She was just fantastic, fabulous woman. I know she would tell you that she loves you. That would be one of the first things that that she would say. And although she got to see you briefly, she was just, her heart and mind was always on you. I know that's one thing she would have said.
As brief as it was, we're really glad she got to meet Hudson. We know it just made that whole day, week, month. That's something that we knew we had to make sure happened. She deserved that, to see her little grandson. And yeah, she deserved to be called Grandma.
So, because he was only a week or so old, I was really worried about germs. And I was like, oh no, like there's gonna be so many germs. And we made, we picked a really warm day to see if she could come out in a wheelchair. That she was so tired and she wanted to lay down, and that was fine. And so we rushed in. Hudson was all covered in his car seat. And we brought him in, and it was like a reveal, like, phew. And my favorite, most precious memory is when she blew you a kiss, Hudson. So it was very, very heartwarming and sad all at the same time. She's a very cool lady.